Welcome back to our series on creationism versus evolution. Today, in episode 15, we delve into the intriguing topic of the artificial order of the tree of life. One of the reasons people feel evolution is supported by facts is due to the apparent order in the findings. Evolutionary theory takes a mix of findings, fossils, geological layers, and organizes them, creating an internally logical developmental order. This order is compelling and draws one to believe in it. However, it's crucial to distinguish between natural order and artificial order. A natural order typically arises from some consistent cause. It's widely acknowledged that the order within a living species, for example, results from a consistent factor like natural selection, and this real order needs to be explained. On the other hand, an artificial order is one created through technique, an order that could be assembled from any mixture. The order that evolutionary theory imposes on findings could similarly be applied to any other assortment of findings, rendering it an artificial order. This doesn't teach us about any real connection between the findings and the explanation. The order isn't truly there because any other order would have been equally plausible. Evolution doesn't position all species as directly evolving from one another. Instead, it views them as branches of a tree with long diverging branches and short ones that end in extinction. This way, any group of species can be organized based on commonalities and differences without specific requirements from a species to fit into the tree. The resemblance to a common ancestor positions it on the tree, but no complex creation is demanded to appear only once in the tree. It allows for the assumption that eyes develop dozens of times as a symmetric pair at the front of the skull, or that genetically similar species are far apart molecularly, and vice versa. This order is merely an association, a tree that could be assembled from any pile of findings, even from a pile of dolls in a toy store, or a group of vehicles in a lot, hence it's an artificial, valueless order. The diagrams and graphs we encounter in textbooks and popular films are not just artificially ordered, but also artificially represented. A significant part of the data isn't exposed but hypothesized, filling in the diagram. Even the part that deals with exposed data presents it in a way that fits the desired diagram. Scholars who compose these diagrams often fail to differentiate between the known and speculated, between what's real and imaginary, frequently misleading the public. The confessions of Ernst Haeckel, a proponent of evolutionary theory who admitted to fabricating his drawings to support his ideas, are well documented. Although his theory of ontogeny recapitulates phylogeny is now discredited, at the time his drawings influenced the scientific community and the public's understanding of evolutionary development. Turning fragmented data into a graph is a pedagogical way to present theory, but can mislead the general reader profoundly. Indeed, every fossil found is incomplete, and researchers often resort to speculation. Simpson states, "The origin of all 32 orders of mammals is speculative to a large extent and open to doubt." Sometimes the artificial order can dazzle us, drawing us in with its charm. The classic example of evolutionary documentation, the supposed development of the horse, even if it were based on solid and accurate data, isn't truly a natural order, one that adheres to some external principle. It's merely the most convenient way to organize the findings, assuming they developed from one another. This illustrates a fundamental weakness in the evolutionary explanation. We already know, for example, what horse hooves look like, before asking why and how they developed and their utility. Instead of presenting a priori claims, as is customary in science, the evolutionary explanation employs posteriori claims, and since evolution deals with the past, it's almost impossible to decide between alternative theories using the method of falsification, being a historical discipline that interprets findings and events after they've occurred. It generally cannot empirically verify its hypotheses, thus denying it the clear scientific status it so desperately needs. If we examine the classic horse example, it clearly misleads the observer. Despite its frequent use as a representative of evolutionary stages, alongside the peppered moth representing natural selection, this example is misleading. Evolutionary diagrams of the horse create an artificial continuum from distinct fossils that lived in different periods across India, South Africa, North America, and Europe. The common ancestor of horses, Eohippus, that lived during the Eocene epoch about 55 million years ago, is assumed to be the precursor of the modern horse, Equus. Gordon R. Taylor points out a serious flaw in Darwinism. The failure of paleontologists, to find convincing phylogenies or evolutionary developments of creatures that demonstrate a major evolutionary change. The horse is often cited as the only fully documented example, but the continuous line from Eohippus to Equus is very unstable. It's supposed to show a constant increase in size, yet some species were smaller than Eohippus, not larger. Representative samples from different sources can be arranged in a seemingly convincing sequence, but there's no evidence that they were indeed arrayed in this order over time. In summary, the perceived order in the tree of life and the diagrams used to represent evolutionary progress are largely artificial constructions. They are based on selective interpretation of data, speculative connections, and sometimes outright fabrications, rather than on a robust, empirically verifiable foundation. The critiques and challenges from various fields of science underscore the complexity of interpreting the past and caution against over-reliance on simplified linear models of life's history. Don't forget to join us next time as we turn another page in this grand library of life. Hit the like button if you enjoyed today's episode, share it with friends who love a good mystery, and subscribe to our channel for more adventures in understanding the world around us. See you in the next episode.